welcome back to Vlogmas. I hope you're all doing well. Today, we're going to talk about 2025. We're going to do an unedited, very simple video about the goals for next year because I feel like I talked about my reflections on 2024. We had a pretty decent year. I'm having matcha, and I'm so sorry. I'm supposed to be opening teas, but we'll do that in the next video. But it is the day before Christmas, and I am reflecting on the fact that I've never done a 2025 vision board. Not once. So I figured I would do one for 2025 and put it on my desktop. I might have to redo it because it's like the aspect ratio is not 16:9. So it looks it's like a weird shape. But we'll talk about my goals for 2025. Now, 2025 is literally next week, and I feel like time has been going by very quickly this year. The year, I feel like it just started and we're already done. I don't feel like, again, 2024 was a bad year. I feel like it was a good year, but I definitely want to make some changes in 2025 that will be beneficial for both you and me, hopefully. So let's get into it. Okay, so here is my 2025 vision board. I've never made one of these before, and this is my first time. So we'll start over in the left-hand corner. Of course, my main goal in life and in my heart is to continue my dedication and practice and enjoyment of music and singing and all the things that have come with it in the past few years. Actually, since after my first concert after COVID, I feel like is when things really started to happen for me. And so I really want to keep working towards becoming the best singer I can, the best musician I can, until it's time for me to retire, which I don't know when that is, but until my voice gives out. So we'll find out when that is, how much I can do. I've got some exciting projects coming up in 2025, so I'm hoping I'll do a good job with all of those and keep myself kind of on a level place or in a level place when it comes to the imposter syndrome that I experience with professional singing. I often feel like I lucked into things that I am doing, or I don't belong there, and it's probably not the healthiest way to think. So we're trying to stay in a healthy place. So the next thing I want to do is I want to host more in my home. I feel like I don't have people enough around over my home. I don't have enough parties, and I want to have more of those in 2025. I put a picture of a tea party below the little toast picture because I've always wanted to have a tea party, but I've never done it, and there's no reason I can't have a tea party with cute little sandwiches and little treats and lovely tea. So I'm gonna make that a goal, at least for by spring, to have a nice little tea party. Although we could have a winter tea party, who knows? I want an actual tea party. Why can't I have a tea party? Next goal, it says idleness. And balance, probably the same thing. So I find that, like a lot of people, I feel burnt out in a lot of ways. I'm doing too much because we romanticized and made being busy a really sexy kind of thing. Oh my God, I'm so busy. I don't have time to blah, blah, blah. I'm doing a lot of stuff. And that is not the vibe. That's just the fast track to being burnt out. I feel burnt out a lot of the time because I got my hand in too many cookie jars, and I don't know how exactly I'm going to correct it. But we're going to try and do less in 2025, which sounds counterproductive and it feels icky to me, if I'm being honest. That even saying it out loud feels like, ugh, who wants to do less in 2025? I feel like for my mental health and for the enjoyment of everyone around me, I feel like I should do less in 2025. So I don't know what that exactly is going to look like, if I'm being honest. And I put balance on there because, I want to balance my whole existence. I want to have a nice work-life balance where I don't feel like I'm being pulled in one direction over the other. Again, I don't know how I'm going to achieve that, but I've got a few days to figure it out. So I also don't feel like I don't spend enough time being idle. Being idle is one of those things that we used to do and don't do anymore. Like boredom is something that's not a part of our everyday experiences anymore because we have TikTok, we've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, we've got YouTube, we've got podcasts, we've got Spotify, we've got Apple Music, we've got TV, we've got, Twitter, we've got all the things, and there's never anything not happening. And I feel like that has ruined a lot of our sense of peace and well-being. And I think part of healing for 2025 is going to be bringing back idleness. And I feel like when you were younger, if you are younger or if you're older than 40, back when you were a child, there was boredom occasionally. Like you would be like maybe waiting in a waiting room to see the doctor, and there was nothing to do, even if there was magazines there or something. And you just kind of were alone with your thoughts. I feel like we're missing, this part of our existence is missing, and I want to bring it back because I feel like a lot of us are malfunctioning because of it. Or at least I feel like I'm malfunctioning because of it. And I would like to return to some of my baseline stillness. And I put a little quote there that says, balance is not something you find, it's something you create, which I think is true. I think that you have to work to find both balance and stillness, because everyone is asking you to do things all the time. And I feel like there is a part of me that is overstimulated for sure. And the irony of a lot of my issues being built around the fear of being seen and choosing a profession that requires me to be seen is not lost on me. And I do love communicating with everyone, both online and offline. But I would be lying to say that I wasn't overwhelmed by the amount of like messages, tags, just things online that require my attention. Sometimes there are so many of them piling that I just kind of, whoa, and then don't address them. And so I want to do something about that as well, because I do think that a lot of that stuff requires my attention, but I don't want to become so overwhelmed that I shut down. And the balance between like allocating time for that and allowing yourself to be shut off to it is something I think I need to learn how to incorporate in 2025. Because when I give attention to messages and talk to people and, take care of all the tags and like all the things and like, I feel better afterward, but the activation energy, like getting up the hill, can be really difficult. And that's to say, if you've sent me like a message on a social media platform and I have not replied to you, it's not personal. It's just, I'm overwhelmed. So I apologize, but I love you and care for you. And I apologize for not getting back to you in a timely manner, but it is not personal. I'm just kind of overwhelmed, and I will hopefully, I want to get better at that in the future. Okay. I'm going around like in a clockwise motion here. I'm going to move over to self-care. I take care of myself. Yes. But I've been in a place my entire life where I have asked myself, do I want to spend money on going to a hair salon. So I'm turning up the lights because my lights are not hooked up. So I'll ask myself, do I want to do my own nails or do I want to go to a nail salon? And I'll always choose, I'll do my own nails, even if they won't look as good or last as long. And going to a hair salon, for me, even the last Friday, like getting my hair done, that was like a big deal for me. And I don't normally do those things. And I was recently talking with one of my voice teachers, and they, were addressing the tongue tension and jaw tension. I carry a lot of my anxiety and tension in my body in some of those areas. And she asked me if I went to get massages or therapy. And I was like, no, I don't really do that. She was like, oh, you should do that. And so I always see those things as like luxuries, and I have seen them as, why am I getting emotional talking about this? But this is just the way that I feel. I've seen them as things that I don't deserve, even if I can afford them. Because who wants to, I feel like I don't deserve to pay someone to help me relieve tension out of my body or help me with my hair care or any of that stuff, which sometimes if you, and this is part of the reason I think why therapy is so important, is sometimes when you say things out loud, they sound a little bit, they just sound like, wow. And so saying things out loud is often really therapeutic for me. And so, but it's really the way that I'm feeling inside, like hair salon, massage. Who do you think you are? I kind of have those kinds of thoughts. And I think I need to remember that these services exist and you don't have to earn them, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I aim to not feel weird about spending money on things like the hair salon, like TMJ massage and like skincare and things like that. So this is getting much heavier than I thought it would get. Okay. And last but not least, is the goals involving all of my YouTube platforms and I guess other social media platforms, is that I only want to create for happiness. I turned down every brand deal I was offered for the rest of the year because I just was not feeling like I was creating content that made me happy. I felt like I was obligated. Somehow along the way, I lost the spirit of it. And we're talking about main channel. We're not talking about the gaming channel or the personal channel or anything. And I feel like the decision to step away and reevaluate was really wise for me, and so far has been the best thing to do, even if financially it was a really bad decision. Because I only want to make video content that makes me happy. And I feel like therefore that would radiate and translate into the end package. I'm not saying that the content I've made in 2024 has been somehow has felt terrible. But I would be lying if I didn't say it felt obligatory, and especially regarding the partnerships I've had with brands and things like that. It felt forced, and I don't want it to feel that way anymore. And taking a step back was probably the best decision I could have made for the channel and for me. I'm still kind of up in the air about it, but I just want to make sure that in 2025, I am creating from my heart, from here, instead of creating from the chat GPT part of my brain. If I can now turn part of my brain and heart into an algorithm that spits out things for other purposes rather than passion purposes. Because in my heart of hearts, I believe that that content from the heart and not just content for algorithms is much more meaningful, both for the viewer and for the creator. And finding that place, I can see it at the end of the tunnel, but I'm not there yet. And so, but I can see where I want to go with it. And it's making me happy. It's just, the way to get there is a little steep, but I think we can accomplish it. We'll see what happens in 2025. So I put a bunch of quotes at the bottom that were, beneficial to me, I think. Nourishing yourself is not a luxury, it's a necessity. I still don't believe this, but we'll hold on to it. It's like a mantra. If I repeat it, maybe I'll believe it. Almost everything will work again if you unplug it for a few minutes, including you. I believe that. And not fully unplugging is something that I definitely need to work on or would like to work on. Because I think that instead of unplugging, I will just press a theoretical reset button, and sometimes you just need to turn off. And turning off is not something I'm good at, but we'll work on it. Self-care is giving the world the best of you instead of what's left of you. That's probably is best about burnout, which I experience from time to time. Your voice is not meant to sound like anyone else is meant to sound like you. I have a lot of issues with the singing, but I'm getting better. Okay, I'm getting better, and I've gotten to the point where I try not to sound like my favorite singer, but to sound however I sound, which apparently is good to some people. All right, let's switch back over. And those are my goals for 2025. They're they're doable. I'm looking at the thing now, and I want to keep all of these things top of mind in 2025. While, I think a lot of it is about not falling into the trap of trying to prove myself all the time, because I've felt behind, or I've felt less than in my past life. So I think that just trying to go with the flow is better always than trying to prove myself, because I will never prove myself, because what is that? What is that? It's nothing. It's an illusion. So I just wanted to reflect on my goals for 2025. I made my vision board. That template was on Canva, so if you are subscribed to Canva, you can do your own version of that, plug in your own pictures. But I hope that you enjoyed my thoughts on what I'm gonna do next year. Let's have a good one. All right, I don't think this will be my last Vlogmas video, but because I think I'm gonna continue until the beginning of the year, or I'm just gonna continue. Listen, we're gonna be honest. I'm gonna continue, but it might not be daily, but we're gonna continue because I am enjoying this. So I will see you in the next video very soon. Thanks for watching. Happy tea drinking, and I'll see you in the next one.